favorites and also some dark horses. Czech Republic, definitely with a chance for a place on the podium today. Also Austria with a very interesting team, so let's see what's happened today. But Sweden and Switzerland, they are the two strongest teams when it comes to sprint relay. And now we have 14 minutes to start. 14 minutes to start only for this sprint relay. And Matti.
Děkuji za slovo. Já mám u mikrofonu závodnici, která 1995 běžela v tomhle terénu a umístila se v první desítce Marcela Kylarská, Rozená Kubatková. Marcelo, já se zeptám, jaké jsou vzpomínky po více než 25 letech, nebo 23 konkrétně, takže méně než 25, 23 letech, na ten závod?
Si dobře vzpomínám, tak skutečně si měl pravdu, že tohle zrovna rovinka není. Že to byl velmi náročný závod a tenkrát jsem ještě nebydlela v Praze, takže pro nás i to, že jsme běželi v Praze a kousíček od Pražského hradu byl velký zážitek. To jsme se tady my ze Severní Moravy z Třince moc nedostali. Takže určitě to byl zážitek, ale po tolika letech už si vůbec nevzpomínám, jak to bylo s výsledkem, ale vím, že to byl krásný závod.
Ty jsi sem přinesla i český overall z toho roku 95, památeční. Máš doma nějakou výstavku, vzpomínky na ty časy?
Určitě ne, tady mám ten overall, když jedu na olympiádské závody, tak ještě ten overall tady vidím, nebo někdo v tom ještě trénuje. A je fakt, že to byly dříve tak poctivé materiály, že do dneska jsou ještě plně funkční. A jaká byla ta otázka, ale jsem se úplně ztratila.
Je nějaká výstavka z té doby?
Výstavka určitě ne. Jediné, co mám doma schované, jsou medaile z mistrovství světa nebo z juniorského mistrovství světa či z akademického mistrovství světa, ale to spíš pro děti, pro nějaké moje vzpomínky, ale jinak výstavku nemám schované. Samozřejmě fotografie, protože pan Gavenda v té době hodně fotil, ale jinak žádnou výstavku nemám.
Krásný. Co považuješ vlastně za svůj největší úspěch? Možná, že bychom mladší připomněli.
Ono už je to strašně dávno, se říká všechna sláva, polní tráva. Mám nějaký titul juniorské mistryně světa, akademické mistryně světa, ale na rozdíl od dnešní doby, my jsme vlastně měli mistrovství světa každé 2 roky a v tom sudém roce jsme měli světový pohár. Takže těch závodů nebylo tolik, jako mají dnešní závodníci. A nebylo ani tolik disciplín, takže jako úspěch z mistrovství světa mám 3 bronzy.
Gratuluju. Pěkně tedy my mladí už to tolik nepamatujeme. Takže prosím potlesk, jestli mohu poprosit o reprezentantku, tedy bývalou České republiky. Poslední moje otázka, fandíš české reprezentanty tady?
Samozřejmě fandím. Včera jsem utekla z práce a měla jsem obrovskou radost, jak se to Vojtovi podařilo a dneska budu fandit znova.
Tak jo, my se budeme těšit, že tě uslyšíme tady v Rudověhu a přejeme společně české štafetě hodně nejen štěstí, ale i rychlých nohou a bystrého úsudku. Díky moc.
A se daří.
And right now we have 11 minutes to start. The mass start for this sprint relay at the time at 3:30 p.m. 3:30 p.m. And right now 10 minutes to start. In total it will be 38 teams. 38 teams on start, so that's very, very impressive. Many teams have 2 or even 3 and 4 teams actually. But in total 38 teams will take part in this sprint relay. And the start is now less than 10 minutes away.
Zatímco za 10 minut startujeme, já ještě mám velkou radost a je mi velkou ctí přivítat u mikrofonu i vládního zmocněnce pro sport Milana Hniličku. Jak říkal sportáka Otováš nahoru, mě zajímá, jaký vztah nebo jak pohlížíte vlastně na sport orientační běh, který není úplně v zimě, není úplně v hale.
Tak dobrý den, děkuji za pozvání, já jsem moc rád, že tady můžu být, no, tak dá se relativně určitě, ale tak pro mě je to sport, který se jednak rozvíjí a jednak je to pro mě i rodinný sport, který může opravdu dělat celá rodina od mala až po stáří, řekněme, což rozumím v některých sportech jako hokej to určitě říct nelze, takže já tomu fandím jednoznačně zdravý sport a jsem rád, že dneska tady to uvidím, protože i tento sport se dostal do vrcholové fáze a soutěží a posunul se i v rámci té elektronizace, takže pro mě to, já jsem rád, že tady budu.
Děkuji, já se ještě zeptám možná trochu osobně, to, že jste vládní zmocněnec pro sport asi bere hodně času, ale zvládáte taky sportovat, nějaké cíle menší třeba osobní?
No tak moje osobní cíl, abych aspoň hodinu týdně si zasportoval, protože pro podporu sportu, abych dělal pro to maximum, tak sám nemám čas sportovat, takže to je taková věc, kterou jsem počítal, ale někdy, když se dostanu víkend domů, tak jsou to sporty, které mám na to většinou hodinu. Není to o žádném golfu na 6 hodin, nebo nějakých výletech, je to opravdu sport, kdy hodin se vyjdu a už můžu jít.
Tak jo, děkuji mnohokrát, prosím, zatleskejme i Milanu Hniličkovi.
Tak děkuji.
Díky moc a hezký den, můžete se tady s námi na orientačním běhu. Máme necelých 8 minut do startu dnešních sprintových štafet na světovém poháru v orientačním běhu. Sprintové smíšené štafety. 4 úseky, první úsek ženy, druhý a třetí muži a třetí čtvrtý finišující úsek, opět ženy. 7 minut do startu.
Right now, 7 minutes to start this last relay competition of the year. And this will count in the Team World Cup in orienteering. All results counts in this discipline, the Team World Cup in orienteering. Switzerland in the lead, 635 points. In second spot, Norway, 590. And Sweden in third position, 583. And a big gap to fourth position, the Czech Republic, 347. That's current standings with the last competition in front of us. Start now in only 6 minutes time zone to the start for this sprint relay here in Praha, Petin. This beautiful forest park and also traditional park, but mostly forest park today, where they will be running these quite steep slopes also. So it's really demanding this sprint relay today for the runners. So in a short moment, we will also see the runners approaching this starting area, and then we'll heading out from this start, out on their courses. And as I said before, for newcomers not that familiar with the sport of orienteering, this is a mixed sprint relay, which means that 2 women and 2 men in each team, and the legs, they are fixed. So a woman on the first leg, men on the leg 2 and 3, and a woman will run the last and decisive 4th leg. So that's fixed, you have no choice. And 2 men and 2 women in each team. That's the discipline of mixed sprint relay in orienteering. Now we have 5 minutes. 5 minutes to start.
Jak to performer zmiňoval několikrát pravidel pro vás, kteří třeba jdete náhodou kolem, menším si, zaběhat si, nebo se vracíte na koleje, zastavte si krátce probíhají tu závody v orientačním běhu, konkrétně světový pohár a dnes se běží smíšené sprintové štafety. Jak to funguje? Jsou 4 úseky, na prvním poběží ženy, na druhém muži, na čtvrtém poběží ženy. Máme ve startovní listině 35 národních štafet, včetně 4 štafet České republiky. A první štafeta České republiky podle papírových dokladů má slušné šance. Už vidíme závodnice, které nastupují do startovního koridoru. Za necelých 5 minut bude startováno. Přivítejme je prosím bouřlivým potleskem. To jsou nejlepší světové orientační většině. Tady v Praze na Petříně.
The Mother Runners, 38 teams in total in this sprint relay, the last competition of the year. It's as I said before, Switzerland in command right now, 635 points ahead of Norway, 592, and Sweden in third, 583. So there's also some important points to run for the teams in this Team World Cup in orienteering. And as you know, the European champions this year in the sprint relay was Switzerland on home soil, close right outside Lugano in the southern part of Switzerland, and the world champions for the second straight year. It was Sweden who won the gold medal in the sprint relay for the second year in a row, actually, for Sweden. And right now,
being in the second or third Swedish or Swiss teams. Here's Lina Strand on the start line for Sweden. Didn't quite make it to the final on the knockout sprint yesterday. Perhaps that's one reason why she's in the first Swedish team, or in the team tool, because I think having not run all 4 races yesterday, you have slightly fresher legs. Spinhauser there on left of picture will lead out the Swiss team.
Světového poháru, to znamená, že jedničku má zatím nejúspěšnější Švýcarsko, dvojku Norsko, trojku Švédsko a 4 Česká republika.
And now we have 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, so please take your positions.
So a few minutes left and the runners can take their positions.
Já připomenu, za Českou republiku za první štafetu běží Jana Krapová.
So we will also have introduce you for the runners in the first row with a really
So we have got all the runners now on the start line. The leaders, the current leaders on the Relay World Cup, Switzerland, will see Sabine Hassel, Andreas Kibbert, Florian Hovald and Judith Wieder on their team. Concurrent second standings in large parts of the men's forest relay teams. It's Norway, Camilla Olausson, Øystein Kvaal Østerbø, Jonakos Osman and Andrine Benjaminsen. Sweden is in 3, Lina Strand, Emil Svensk, Jonas Andersen and Tova Alexanderson as well. And the home team of the Czech Republic will have the new knockout sprint World Cup champion, Wojtek Kral, on third leg. And we're aware we've had some problems with the commentary stream, so apologies for that. We welcome you again to the stream. If you didn't hear us the first time,
it's a pity. It was the best opening we ever did.
I know, it was really good.
It was just perfect.
Well, we've got this mixed sprint relay. We talked you through the courses. Hopefully you've seen them anyway, and should hopefully be a good race with a lot of climb, some route choices to take, although we think they will stick together. And will be the person at the lead taking the initiative here. But they've now got their maps, and there's less than a minute to the start. And we said Switzerland have to finish in the top 3 in order to guarantee the win for this Relay World Cup. And we can see the top 6 ranked teams there on the start line. Switzerland, Norway, Sweden, Czech Republic, Finland and Russia. We've got 38 teams here on the start line with an estimated winning time of 14 to 15 minutes per leg. So just 10 seconds to start. They can get into position. And Jana Knapper already taken the band off her map, can unfurl it, and now they are out onto the course. There is a forked leg on to the first control, and there is a possibility of some route choice here, but we reckon now we'll stick together here. Some careful map reading there. Sabine Hauswert taking them out as well. So too is Anna Hattia for the second or third finish team, and now you can see some decisions being made.
And we were talking about that before, when we were not on air actually. There's a route choice to the left or to the right. Many of them are choosing to go to the right now. I don't think it really matters. My feeling is that it could be 1 or 2 seconds faster to go to the right, as many of the runners do now. But in the end, it doesn't really matter. You have to decide, and then you run as fast as you can, and then maybe the difference is 1 or 2 seconds.
Na tom je orientačník postavený. Jak to dopadne na prvním úseku, že tady se dělí, vidíme, někdo běží vpravo, někdo vlevo, co bude výhodnější?
Diana Indrekova for the Czech second team. We are following her here in this beat back.
So now we are actually on the route choice to the right. They will go out of this park here we have on the top around the castle and go in this steep slope with many meters to climb coming later on.
Yeah, they will. They'll drop down many meters, as you said, and then have a brutal climb later on. 100 meters of climb on this course for the women.
And here we don't see anyone who has chosen to go to the left. That was actually a little bit expected from my side. I mean, since it doesn't really matter what you take, often the result is that if the one in the front decides to go either right or left, the others will follow. And I think that's totally natural. Why should you take a risk if it doesn't matter anyway? So.
And then from here, you'll also be able to see number 2 before
exactly.
number 1.
Interesting here now will be that some of them will have control B, and they can turn a little bit earlier. It makes it for sure faster for them. But of course, we'll see in the last leg. Then it will be the other way around, so it doesn't really matter. Then the other runner will have the advantage to have the shorter control.
Exactly. We'll get our first time check at number 5. Although at this point in the race, it's going to be very, very close between all of them. But now we can see the first few teams splitting off, and that looks like Galina Vinogradova for Russia. They're at the beginning of this group. And turning back to go to number 2.
That's the stone. That's the one a little bit closer. I saw that Lina Strand was coming from a strange direction there. Someone lost the map as well. Picked it up again. So now there's another forking coming. Actually, it doesn't really matter what you have. My feeling is that everyone will pass Control D anyway and almost pass Control C. So that's just, you just have to be focused so you just don't end up at the wrong control.
And then here, this is control number 4. We'll see them coming probably from the left side around this pond, so they don't have to go down the steps. And yeah, we can see.
Is it
I think
Russia?
I think it's Russia and Sweden. So Galina Vinogradova is second to punch there.
Josefin Kärnlund was first there. We have Sweden 1. Here we have Switzerland 1. A little bit behind.
And Czech Republic 1 as well. With,
Knapova. And I mean, everyone's still together almost. We had some downhill running. Nothing, I mean, there's no physically tough part over yet, just downhill running, but very soon it will turn and you have to climb again, and then I think the group will split up.
Absolutely, but it's the third Swiss team with Josefin Kärnlund in the lead at the moment.
So now they are on the route choice back from control 6 to control 7. And here we have the standings at first TV control. And we see that Switzerland, the first team, 12 seconds behind. Well, 12 seconds. It's a gap up, but it's still, I would say, still there are many runners. I mean, it's a difference if you have if you're 12 seconds behind and there's no runner in front of you, but you have a runner every second here, so I don't
And
think
also,
it will.
you can lose maybe 12 seconds just from that having the different, or 5 seconds just from having the different number one.
And also to mention, it looks very green on the map here, but it's actually when you're out in the terrain, it's not that green. It's quite open. It's good runnability, but it's steep.
Yeah, it is very steep. You can really see that here as they go down these steps, and it's Lina Strand for the first Swedish team in the lead. They're favourites for this race.
And it will be really tough also. This is really physically. So in the end, I think.
So this is control number 7. Now I have a very short control, number 8, and then the climbing starts for the women.
You can see Amanda Falkweber for Denmark there on left picture.
She lost quite a lot of time here in the beginning, and there we have Ingjerd Myhre, one of the Norwegian teams.
After this split we saw, they are now heading back.
So now we see them on the route choice. Actually, that's surprising for me. No one chose to
No
go
one,
up
even with
there.
A, chose to go up.
Exactly. Yeah, I would have expected them from control E to run up directly the hill and then take the path there and exit. Yeah, kind of take the passage through the wall there, a little bit to the left to where they are now. Actually, I expected everyone having control E to do that.
Yeah, me too. But you can see we've got Sweden one up
Interesting.
there.
Now
And
we have
Russia.
Norway turning back and up. I doubt that this will be good. I mean, you have to do the climbing now. You would have approximately the same climbing if she had continued. Camilla Olausen, the way Sweden and Switzerland are doing, they would have almost the same climbing. Okay, it looks green on the map, but at this point of the course, you should have noticed that the green areas, it's not an issue.
No, but now you can see the Galina Vinogradova for Russia one taking the climb a little bit later. Where I mean, you're pretty much rock climbing up here.
It's very steep
Very,
there.
very steep. And here they go into that control, number 9. And then still Russia in the lead. With
Then to control number 11. Now they will be at control 10 here very soon, and then to control 11. There's actually kind of a trap where you can end up. There's a stair on the map, and this stair it ends at the wall, and well, it's hard to see that it ends. So I can imagine some of the runners to go into this trap.
but no real gaps so far. Still a lot of the climb to go on this course, but Russia leading. We also had Austria Ursula Kadan up there as well, and Lina Strand for Sweden won. So now some gap, and then the big group of women here, as you can see, the Czech Republic team there into 18th place. Alva Olsen there, 24 for the second Swedish team.
Here we have Denmark, already 53 seconds behind.
And now we get to a minute behind the leaders.
Here you see,
can't tell if anybody's got
as if
stuck
they
there.
would just go over the wall there. Well, it's hard to tell where they exactly are. But you see the stairs there, and they actually end at the wall.
Yeah, and the line kind of covers that small track that you you have to get on before the wall starts.
But it doesn't seem that anyone had any problems there. So Switzerland still up there, Sweden, Russia. You see that there's some group building going on now.
But we don't have all the GPSs there,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
true.
difficult. It's difficult to tell. And now they will have another small, no, it's pretty obvious, yeah, that they go, the only way up is to go through that way.
That's actually where they have the shortcut compared to the men's course later on. They will, from control number 10, they will continue and then have a little bit longer loop to control 13.
So you can see we lose some of the GPS tracking through this point, but we should hopefully catch them on camera very soon. But we certainly see there Austria looking good. There you go, there's Ursula Kadan looking good.
And Austria, actually, they have an interesting team with Robert Merl and let's see, Matthias Reiner coming later on. They performed very well yesterday. So good start for the Austrian, but you see that it is Sweden leading at this point.
Yeah, and Nina Strand had a 4-second gap. So looking strong up the hills, up the climb here. But through this tape part, it's really easy to see where your control is. Just have to avoid the tape. And now we're behind Camilla Olarsson from Norway.
Now they're coming to the arena passage here. Control number 16. And then it's just a short loop left.
So the teams are approaching the arena, as we can see, and look at that gap for Sweden 1, Lina Strand, ahead of Switzerland and Austria there. So playing out pretty much as expected in terms of the first two teams at the moment. And they're going to pass through this arena and do the short loop now until we see them change over at the finish.
But you see that, I mean, the gap was 4 seconds at the last TV control, and the tail here is 15 seconds, so I would guess that the difference now, the gap is around 10 seconds, so is that she has a higher speed here, Lina Strand.
So we're going to see them come through from the left, and there's two different controls as they come through here. Here she is. So looking pretty good, and can we see where the chasers are? We're looking for Switzerland.
And now it's a gap.
There we go.
The
gap is growing there for Lina Strand leading the course. There's Ursula Kadan for Austria into third. And here's a bigger group here.
Anna Marie. Jakob.
Lena Vinogradova from Russia there. And Camilla Olarsson, Norway, in there too. Yeah, very flat area and I think fewer tourists. But here is Lina Strand leading this race, keeping it controlled on the final section, but she's got a good gap over the rest of the field at the moment. Next up, we'll see Sabine Hauswirth, who's on first leg for Switzerland. There she is. And being caught up by Ursula Kadan, the third place for Austria. And now there's a possible route choice to get back across the wall into the arena, but everyone's going what we think is the shortest way. So we've got Emil Svensk, there he is, waiting to change over. He's on the stage here and will set Sweden off in the leading position at the start of leg number 2. So we're looking out for Lina Strand now. We'll also see Andreas Kiberts heading out on second leg for Switzerland. But Lina Strand for Sweden is going to come into first place currently after first leg of this mixed sprint relay. She hands over to Emil Svensk, can set them off in a good time in 15 minutes. That's about what we expect from the leaders on this leg. Now Andreas Kiberts is looking now for Sveen Hauswirth to hand over. And the gap, I think, is growing.
I got the feeling already at the passage that she is stronger physically, and she did a great job on this first leg. There was no problem at all. And it was more or less as expected. I mean, the route choices, there were no big differences, time differences in the route choices. They stayed together more or less over the whole course. And the difference we see is mostly physically.
So also had Norway interchange over. There's 2 teams from Finland. And we had Russia change over as well. We've also got 2 Czech Republic teams there. We go handing over at the same time. They're just trying to find their runners as everybody comes in at the same time. And that is a big group there to hand over.
Norway, Austria and France. And here's also Denmark with Amanda Falk-Weber. We'll change over to Jakob Edsen on the second leg.
This is the Danish mark, Amanda Falk-Weber, handing over to Jakob Edsen down here already. But let's have a look now at what's happening on the start of the second leg.
And if we look at the tail, it looks as if the gap would be around 20 seconds maybe. So that's quite a gap already early in this competition. We also see that all of them are choosing to go to the right, as we have seen it on the women's leg already earlier, and it proved to be good. I think it's quite a good race to. I mean, it doesn't really matter what you take, which route choice you take. So if you're all alone in the lead, it doesn't. I mean, you don't have to have the feedback from the others if your route choice was good or not. It's quite a good situation to lead this race in a competition like this.
Now Emil Svensk, there we saw him in the lead punching at control number 1. Now he was disqualified in the first round of the qualification yesterday, so comparatively fresh legs.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's for sure a difference if you have been running 1 competition yesterday or 4, but I mean, Andreas Kiberts was not running 4 of the competitions either. It was 3 of them. Okay, it's 1 or 3. It's a difference, but I mean, that's not going to decide this competition.
So Emil Svensk here now and approaching control number 4. And he'll have some good feedback as he left the arena to know what kind of a gap he was looking at. And has certainly made a good attack and a good attacking start to this course. So have the first split at control number 5.
Yeah, now we see that I actually take different route choices here. I didn't expect them to take the route choice Kiberts is taking here because it's stairs there. It's more convenient to just continue, and the gap now is almost half a minute.
Artem Popov for Russia in 3rd there. Already overtaken the Austrian there, and another Swiss team in there as well.
That was good again.
The gap between Sweden and Switzerland right now, it is 43 seconds. That's a really big gap there for Sweden right now.
And
It's a big group now. Chasers.
well, it's already split up very much already, especially between Team Sweden in the lead and Switzerland in 2nd spot. More than 40 seconds it is.
47 seconds down for Russia.
So let's see.
Let's see what the gap is here. This is control number 7. And you can see the chasers here only halfway on their way to control number 7. We saw all the women cut through directly through the terrain here. It gives them the feedback that it isn't actually that green. It's just parkland. It's quite good underfoot. And here we can see Kiberts and Popov for Switzerland and for Russia. Only one Russian team entered in this competition, and they're chasing. Let's have a think. What is the gap?
It's 37 seconds. And it will be interesting to see if we will see any differences in the choice decision now from control 8 to 9. I haven't seen that in the women's race or in on the first leg from the women. But I expect the men to split up there.
So these are the standings at split 1, which is control 5. So 35-second lead there for Sweden ahead of Switzerland and Russia pretty much there together. Then a group with leading with Finland, and then a much bigger group here around about 1 minute 20 seconds behind, with some of the teams having their own mini battles there and we're working together. Now, would you rather be? I mean, obviously you'd rather be leading, but is it good to be in second and third place with a group to try and chase?
Well, it's certainly better to be in a group than alone chasing, but for sure I would like to be less behind than 37 seconds. That's a big gap already, and I wonder. I mean, it seems. My guess was that we haven't seen the times of the first leg, but my guess was that it was around 20 seconds, and now it's 37. So the feeling is that the speed, Emil Svenski has a good speed as well. The gap seems to get bigger and not smaller, so let's see how it develops. Actually, now it was 37 seconds before. Now we only see Kibbutz here. Maybe there was some different route choices. We don't know that.
Saw something with the Russian GPS. I'm not sure what it was though, but the gap.
But I meant compared to Svensk, now it's 34 seconds. And now
Where
we
is
have
Popov?
We have Österbø and Thomas Koriger coming here for
Norway, and now 48 seconds there. Now here's Popov, so he's lost about 20 seconds here for some reason.
Can be the route choice. Kuriger was running for the second Swiss team.
Let's see if we
You
can see
have to
what
replay. Oh, he missed to turn up there. Popov. He was just following the...
It just went down the wrong track.
Yeah. Actually, that's, I mean...
That's a really
you
bizarre
don't have to
mistake.
take that many decisions on this leg. But I'm sure a thing that can happen is that you, on quite an easy leg, or when you think that now you got time, that you start to read ahead, and you're distracted for some seconds by doing that. And it's hard to find the right moment to get back into your orienteering, because you have to skip the whole technique. Your focus is on the map for some seconds and you don't notice everything around, and then it can be hard to get back. And if you're too close to the moment, to your attack point already, then it's really hard to find the moment to turn to the left here. And I think that's what happened to Popov. And here actually we have a new route choice. We haven't seen that in the women's race, from 12 to 13. I think that everyone will continue on this path down, and then you get on the street, and then you have a possibility to go to the east or to the west. I tested both of them. For me it was exactly the same. No, not even a second difference. So I don't think it really matters what you take there.
It's just about making the choice and executing it, sticking to it, not going down the wrong track. So now back on the top of the hill. See who we can see what the gap is now.
There's the control. We don't see it now. It's in the now we see it there in the corner.
And here we go.
Svensk.
So Emil Svensk now still with the lead there, and we're going to have another check of the time. It was 32,
I think, or
33 or 34. So now we're looking for Andreas Kiberts, and this will be a test of who is strongest up the hill, I think, here from controls 10, 11, 12, and then this route choice is 13. There we go, here's a Swiss runner.
So he's closer now, that's for sure. Gap is now 25 seconds.
So caught up about 10 seconds from controls 10 to 13 here. And now some more forked controls on this last section before they run through the arena. Now the gap is big to the next group. We're going to see who can approach now.
Now it's Thomas Kudiger, I think, for Switzerland too. Very strong performance so far.
So Swiss 2 into third place.
And we're expecting Øystein Kvaløs to go as well.
There we go, he's punched that control as well, 56 seconds down.
We get some quality time together with Thomas Kudiger here.
Popov now 104 behind, still dropping further back. Lane from Finland 3, Otto Kallio for Finland 2 there. No sign of Finland 1 with Joni Kallio there as we just see the top 7, and this is everybody running the other way back. Taking so we're running behind Kuriger, but Emil Svensk passed through the arena already.
So soon we will be at the control, just before the arena passage.
And now here's Emil Svensk, now the other side of the arena passage.
Switzerland, right there is 29 seconds. 29 seconds behind right now. The last loop to go for Andreas Kiburts.
And we are waiting for Kiburts to come to these controls. We're back on the other side of the castle. That's just before the arena passage.
Thomas Kudiger from Switzerland too, passing through in third position. Norway, Øystein Kvaløs in fourth position. And then we have Artem Popov from Russia, right behind Norway. Now we have Kymäläinen and Kallio for Finland.
Now we're actually running through the arena passage here.
And this is a bigger group with, I think, some of the Czech teams in there, in that flurry of runners.
We're just stopping here at the coaching zone, and in the picture now, Emil Svensk again. Very close to the finish.
And he'll go back through the wall.
He's on the way to the second last control. There's a kind of a route choice. I name it kind of a route choice because, oh, actually, no, we'll see. Actually, they're splitting up. I just wanted to mention, I don't think they will split up here, but actually, I think that the Svensk route choice is some seconds faster.
I think this is the one point where there is a more obvious route choice, and it's the one that Svensk took anyway. Svensk has now punched the second to last control, got one more, and then he will head into the arena. Here we go, and it is Jonas Leandersson who will set off next on third leg. Silver medalist from yesterday's knockout sprint will take over. Sweden still in the lead. So let's see what the gap now is back to Switzerland. Here's Andreas Kiberts after splitting up on that control. Got one more before he'll make his way into the arena. I think he's lost a bit of time, was only 25 seconds behind, but now it's grown again back to the second place team, Switzerland, the leaders of this Relay World Cup. Now the gap is going to be about 30 seconds, maybe just over, and we'll hand over to Florian Howald. So 30 seconds exactly is the gap now back to Switzerland, and we'll see who comes through next. It should be Swiss 2. Here he is. And Øystein Karl Østerbø for Norway is also there.
And we see that Øystein Karl Østerbø, he is almost able to catch Thomas Koriger here on the last part. But still, Koriger did a good job. He will hand over to Jonas Ecker. And Øystein Karl Østerbø will hand over to Alkrus Usnuen.
Artem Popov here for Russia. 1:13 behind here, and we've got so Switzerland number 3 as well here. Christoph Meyer.
Heading over to Joey Adon.
And Finland 3 and Finland 2 also in 7th and 8th spot.
Here is Milos Nikodin coming for the Czech team. Handing over to yesterday's winner, Wojtek Kral.
So 1.5 minutes for...
A little bit disappointed. I thought they would be higher up in the result list at that point and maybe be fighting for the top 3. But at the moment it's almost, let's say it's about 40 seconds to this 3rd position, maybe 30-40 seconds.
Yeah, 30.
Yeah, but I mean they have Wojtek Kral out now. I'm sure he can catch some seconds compared to at least maybe Switzerland too. I mean he seemed very strong yesterday, so he should be able to be faster than anyone else. Let's see, it's I mean it's not the same kind of orienteering as it was yesterday. It's more something in between forest orienteering. I mean, the thing is with this kind of sprint, it's you don't do it that often in parks or in forests, and then it's much harder to get a feeling for the distance since you're not used to it. And that's kind of something you have to calibrate in the beginning, the first controls.
Yeah, and also you can't here you can cut corners. But Florian Hovald, 16 seconds.
Oh, that was
so
a really
the
good
gap's
start.
been taken by 14 seconds. He's caught up by 14 seconds. And then
that's a good start. We don't know about the route choice and about the forking. I mean, for sure, if both take the route choice to the right and one of them has the longer control, then you can win some seconds just by doing that. We have Jonas Ecker. He ended up at the wrong control, so he lost some seconds there.
and there's already gained 15 seconds as well. So I think Leanderson lost those 15 seconds. Both, it's still the same gap between 2 and 3. About 30 seconds, just over.
Oh no, this control 2. Oh, what is Joey Haddon doing there? Of course, I was wrong there. Ecke didn't lose time by doing a mistake. It's control 2 here. It's not the first control.
And Wojtek Kral now up into 6th spot. Has
1:15
gained
behind.
3
He was
places already.
1.5 minutes behind, so it's around this 50, or yeah, around 15 seconds he was able to catch it. It was about the same as Florian Hovald.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's almost like Leanderson at the front has lost the 15 seconds, and that means they've all kind of.
As I said, he might have had this other forking, and then you lose some of the seconds just by having this one. But of course, I mean, it's just fair because in that case, Emil Svensk had the shorter one, so it's nothing to complain about.
Exactly. And now here's that big group together. Austria now down into 17th position after a storming first leg from Ursula Kadan, now 2 minutes behind.
Here we have Jonas Andersson at control number 7 already. So let's see. We have the next indication about the time.
And
It
that's
was it 16 seconds?
yeah, it was 16
16,
seconds
yeah.
at control number 2.
Now it's more
Now-
already, because now we have 15 seconds.
And now
And
we're at
here
20
he is,
seconds,
but
so
that's
20
Jonas Ecker,
seconds.
so that's interesting. He came very close now. Well,
That's
it was
only-
only 20 seconds. Maybe it seems that we missed Hovald at control 7, because his dot was already there. But let's see what happens at the next TV control then. My feeling is that Andersson lost some more time, because Jonas Ecker was very close there. It would actually be interesting with to see the GPS, but
Well, Switzerland won
Switzerland
this
2 is going
frozen.
back.
Oh,
And we see there Florian Hovald, he seems to have passed Sweden. So that's interesting. We don't know if it was a route choice or if it was a mistake. But for sure now it's Switzerland in the lead.
okay, well, we'll see if we can find out what's gone on there, but we should be able to see them at controls 9 and 10. And well,
Here we
this is
have
Florian
it.
Hovald in the lead, having overtaken Sweden. We'll try and get to the bottom of how that happened. But now we'll see our new leader at control number 10, and we'll get the split. So, to 36.5 minutes of running. Let's see if we can see Leanderson now behind here. So
Here he is. That's kind of gap now. I mean,
he was 30 seconds in the lead when it changed over, when Emil Svensk handed over to Jonas Leanderson, and now he's going to be 25 seconds
he
behind.
lost almost a minute on the course at that point. That's a lot. He must have missed something. It's not even, I mean, you can't explain that just by taking other route choices. That's, as I said, the differences are not that big in the route choice. So
Well, he
must
lost
have missed
15
something.
seconds to control number 2, and then that's another.
But that can actually
30
be the
seconds.
forking some of the seconds
Yeah.
there. But not everything of this minute can be a forking. This is Alfred for Norway. And in the background, I think we see Choi Hadon. So we also see that Switzerland 2, Jonas Ecker, he must have lost a lot of time running from 8 control, the one more to the east, more to the right. He chose to go back.
But Wojtek Kral now up to 4th place. He was 9th when Milos Nikodim handed over to him at this changeover.
But I mean, he was 1.5 minutes behind. Okay, he was not that. How much was he behind Switzerland?
He was behind Switzerland, a minute behind Switzerland. Milos
And now
Nikodim was a minute
so
behind
he lost
Switzerland.
5 seconds compared to Hovald. Now we see them both on the tracking there. Now it's a big group here. For
Yep.
example, Austria with Ruben Merl.
And Russia with Daniel Kashin as well. Czech too there, and France with Arnaud Perrin.
Zatím tedy ve vedení stále skupina, respektive dvojice Švédsko-Švýcarsko, akorát si prohodili pozice. Švýcarsko teď vede o 20-30.
You see that Florian Hovald is choosing to go back and take the entrance there to the wall. Let's see if...
No, they'll go different.
Let's see. No, they split up here. But as I said, I don't think it matters that much what they take there. But we'll see. Maybe they prove me wrong. There's for sure a little bit more tourists there at the place where Hovald is. But at that point of the race, they should have noticed that something's going on up here. So...
But now Florian Hovald has done all of the climb, and it's on his way. So the gap was 23 seconds, Switzerland to Sweden at control number 10. And I think it's also a mark of how good you can do this very steep climb up from 11, 12 to 13. So we'll see them very shortly at control 13.
My feeling is that's a little bit less, but not still quite a gap. So let's see.
So Huald punched at control number 13. Let's see what the gap now is to Sweden, and we should be seeing the Anderson 11 seconds. It's only 11 seconds, so it's caught up 12 seconds from control number 10. So trying to make amends for some sort of mistake we may have to assume early on in this course, but now the gap has closed down, and soon they will be going to pass through this arena. We can see these spectators in front of us moving so they can cheer on the runners as they will pass behind us.
And I mean, I'd like already to look ahead a little bit. We will see a fight between Judith Wider and Tove Alexandersson on the last leg.
When did we last have a fight between Tove Alexandersson
Well, I
and Judith Wider?
remember last year in the World Cup final, they were actually both disqualified and sent out on the mass start of the last leg together as a mass start.
I mean, I'm thinking the women's relay at the World Championships.
I meant in a sprint relay. Yeah, at that point we thought that Tove Alexandersson would take it, but there was some hesitation in the end. So Switzerland took it in the end. Let's see here, we're not there yet.
Wojtek Kral still catching time compared to Hovald into 5th spot now. They have Teresa Janasikova on the last leg for the Czech Republic.
And here we have 2 of the 3 Swiss teams in this group. Joey Hadon and Jonas Secker. We also have Norway,
But now here we are the other side of the arena passage, and here's our leader, Florian Hovald. Only got a few more controls now on this area that is actually much less crowded than it was when we pre-ran it. And here's the chaser, Jonas Leandersson, who had a 30-second lead when he started out on his course, is now chasing and in 2nd spot.
So now he is at control 18. It's a very short control. He should be punching it now. Control 19, then he will run around this building and come up at this control here.
And you see on the right of picture, that's Hovald at that point, and taking what we think is a slightly slower route around there, but here chasing, this is Wojtek Kral, followed by Jonas Osman for Norway. So Czech Republic and Norway here passing through this flatter part just after the arena passage. Now punch at control number 18 and 19 as well, but we are also waiting for our leaders into the arena, and here possibly 2 of the fastest ladies in this competition, Judith Wider and Tove Alexandersson. Judith Wider, the winner from yesterday. Tove took the bronze medal, and this is surely going to be a great head-to-head that we've seen many head-to-heads between these 2 women, and it should be a very exciting one. Florian Hovald now is into the last control, and we'll see what it is at the changeover. Florian Hovald punches the last control and will hand over to Judith Wider to give her a lead here on the final leg of this mixed sprint relay. So Florian Hovald has done his job. He's managed to overtake Sweden, and there I think we can just see Jonas Leandersson punching the last control. Here he is now on the run-in. He will hand over to Tove Alexandersson. What is the gap? It's 11 seconds. So Tove Alexandersson goes out 11 seconds after Judith Wider, and it will surely now be a big competition, as we are so used to seeing between Switzerland and Sweden.
And we can say that this leg really was a game changer. I mean, we had Sweden, I thought I almost got the feeling that the gap was too big there to have some exciting in the competition, but now we have Switzerland in front, and we also have Czech Republic back in the fight for top 3 here. This is also Switzerland, the 3rd team with Joey Hadon. And we have for the 3rd team for Switzerland, Sarina Jense. For Norway now we have Andrine Benjaminsen. And for the Czech team we have Teresa Janosikova on this last leg.
But if you're counting nations, Czech Republic are in third.
I mean for the World Cup, yeah.
Yes, yeah, for the World Cup. So Finland 2-1-18 behind.
And we have Robert Merl here. And Kasper Fosser in front of him.
Austria 1 minute 20 behind. Thomas Gabelka in there for the third. Nope, second Czech team. So yeah, big group of teams there, but what we're interested in it's going to be the leaders. So that's it. See that? That's an 11-second gap that Judith Rieder now has over Tove Alexanderson, with a big gap down to a group of nations battling for third spot. Switzerland 3, Czech Republic 1, Norway in there as well. But let's have a look what has happened at the start of this fourth leg.
Still no one has chosen to go to the left. Everyone straight or to the slightly to the right here. This route choice, no difference at all. Gap around 15 seconds, a little bit more according to the GPS at least. Let's see which of the controls they have. No, we won't see that.
I think there was some hesitation from Tove Alexanderson around the start, because there was a 11-second
gap.
gap.
Actually thinking to maybe take the route choice to the left. I don't know if it's hesitation or it's just that she was reading the map properly. And now we got the punch at the second control.
But not for Tove Alexanderson.
And now there's now it's gone quite some time here.
This is Teresa Janosikova for the Czech Republic.
Sarina Janser, she had got some kind of an eye accident. Yes, she has had some cut just over her eye, and that's most probably why she's wearing the glasses today.
Yeah, it looks pretty horrible, I think, after the
I'm not sure if he got in the punch from Tove Alexanderson there. Seems very much with more than a minute at this point.
But Teresa Janosikova there in third place.
Republic, Sarina Janser for Switzerland 3. Oh, she was there, Tove Alexanderson, just ahead of Janosikova. So she lost more than 50 seconds here on this first part. She must have done a mistake.
Yeah, I think we lost the GPS though on the slope. So
well, what's the Swedish team doing in the beginning of the course? We have seen the same for.
I don't know. I would like this question answered. Please.
We've seen the same for Jonas Leandersson on the third leg.
So we're at control 4 now, but the leading teams have already gone through.
Yeah. It should be Judith Rieder should have passed here. So this is Tove Alexanderson.
And this is second place. We're looking for Teresa Janosikova there in Czech Republic into the third spot, chasing now for second.
And here we have Sarina Janser. And also Martina Ruch for the second Swiss team, just behind. And there's a lot of excitement going on. We can't see on the screen.
Yeah, we've also Andrine Benjaminsen has dropped a couple of places. Well, dropped a lot of time as well. She was only 56 seconds behind Sweden. Let's have a look what happened.
Let's see what happened. So here everything's fine. Choosing to go in between there. Missing the control. Well. Okay, but in some way.
So just I think dropped too low and then had to go back up. Maybe she took the lower path and thought it was the higher path. So I think.
Yeah.
And then had to cut across through the yellow, but that's
Finland's
45.
kind of mistake there as well. But I still don't really understand what she was doing there. She seemed very slow up the hill there. For me, it seemed as if the GPS stopped, and she missed the control, and the GPS just got slowly to the position where it got contact again. But maybe we'll hear her talking about the mistake later after the competition. It's very hard to say here, just from GPS.
But now she's running still to maintain the second spot though, and has a long way to catch up. Here's third place, and is certainly running away from Teresa Janosikova. Reminder that Janosikova is still a junior, but has performed very, very well from the Czech Republic in the last couple of years and is on the senior stage.
Picture we also saw Sarina Jenser and here Martina Ruch, just behind the top three, position 4 and 5, and this is Andrine Benjaminsen in 6th position.
Yeah, I think she's losing. She's definitely losing some time, some places. Finalist from yesterday's knockout sprint. First time we saw her at a World Cup. I'll be featured World Championships in 2 years' time, of course. Now a big gap down to the rest of the field. These 6, I think, clear. And we can have a look at Switzerland 1, Judith Rieder looking very solid. But here we can see Tove Alexanderson.
Oh, she's heading up there again.
Headed up here with Teresa Janosikova going round. So it's going to be a slow slog up that hill, but not a bad one.
Well, if you manage to get up there without like to get stuck in the slippery part, I think that's good. That can be a good decision, but we haven't seen that before, so it's hard to say what's good and what's not good.
Now she had a little look to her left on her way into this control. This is control number 10. Really knew exactly where she was going to head out of that control towards number 11. There's a little trap there, but it's not too bad. So last point, I think the gap was 104 back to Tove Alexanderson when we saw her at control number 2. It was a gap of 1 minute and 4 seconds, and we've seen a different route choice here from the Swede, and we'll just have to wait until we get her through this control number 10. But the damage has already been done. Time's ticking by now, 45 seconds, and here we can see her just coming down this track here. I think she's possibly caught up a bit of time, but the mistake's already been made by Tove Alexanderson. Again, she looks to her left to see the control there. So 57 seconds.
Back we see actually the two Swiss runners, Sarina Jenser and Martina Ruch. And just behind the two Swiss, we see also Janosikova, but she lost time there.
So losing 10 seconds there, in just from controls 2 to 10. Has Janosikova. Again, back to our trackings here. Slightly shorter choice here. You can see Norway
so
1 as well, chasing there in 6th position. Benjaminsen just punched there, 1:44 behind. The gap now growing for Norway 1.
And that's the part where they have the shorter option than what we have seen in the men's race. No route choice to control number 13.
So we'll catch up again with Judith Rieder round about control number 13, and then just these very short forked controls in the end before the final loop after they pass through the arena. So there we go, behind Judith Rieder now into this area of garden round about control 14. Let's have a look at the gap, what it is back to Sweden. It was 47 seconds, and some
Well, I mean, I'm very sure that she is well aware of her leads. She can look back and she doesn't see anyone coming, so, well, might be some hesitation, might be that she just likes to get in some, like to avoid big mistakes and wants to be very sure what she's doing to the next control before she actually leaves the control. But I mean, I'm quite sure that she's aware of that if she's not doing a big mistake now, she's gonna take it home here.
But the gap, where is Tove Alexandersen? 55 seconds, so lost 8 seconds compared to the last split.
And
Let's have a look.
See the other runners. That's a cameraman or a woman.
And then Switzerland 2, Tina Luke there, and Swiss 3 as well. But we can say similar hesitation there for Alexandersen, 55 seconds behind. Janicikova, the Czech Republic, still the third place nation though. And that's what counts for
but not in the
World
not
Cup.
in the competition. It's just in the World Cup. So
yeah, in the World Cup. So the two Swiss second and third teams, Martina Ruth leading, Jense there. Benjaminsen now 1:38 behind. And we've got some of the runners coming through the arena.
And a very strong team performance of the Swiss team here, with the 3 teams among the top 4. Enough revenge, at least from the men's side, compared to yesterday. They didn't have any runner in the final. We're following the Czech youngster, Janicikova. Still has the back of the 2 Swiss runners.
So Alexandersen, we've heard passing through the arena now, 54 seconds behind Judith Vida, who is well on her way to the end of this course. But we're following Janicikova, who's only 4 seconds behind Serena Jense there. And here is Judith Vida in the lead for Switzerland. She's got, after this one, 3 more controls left on her race and is in a very, very good position. Switzerland are the leaders on this Relay World Cup. So, well, even a top 3, but of course a win guarantees them that overall result. And here she is just checking the route. She hasn't quite made up her mind yet, but she knows she's got a good gap over the rest of the field. Will take the same route I think that most of her teammates have taken.
I think so, yeah.
And but the gap is a big one for Switzerland, so she can afford to make these checks. So we're going to now wait here for Judith Vida to punch there as we follow again to Janicikova. There we go, she's got the backs of the 2 Swiss runners in second and third. But here is Judith Vida on the final stages of the last relay competition of 2018. Last mixed sprint relay, there is the second to last control, and just has to find one more before the run in to the arena. Well, we are used to seeing battles between Switzerland and Sweden, and today it is Switzerland who get the orienteering right. We saw Sabine Hauswirth come into second place after her run. Andreas Kiberts maintained that second place. Florian Hovald was the one who was able to take the lead after a mistake from Sweden. And then Judith Vida able to keep the orienteering right. And Switzerland round off their relay success this year with another win.
It's kind of difficult to summarize this competition, since I got the feeling that we didn't see the very decisive moments, at least not on the third leg, when we suddenly had Florian Hovald in front of Jonas Andersson. For sure, something happened there.
And something happens around control number 1 for Alexandersen.
The race for sure was decided on leg 3 and 4. We had 2 very strong performances in the beginning for Team Sweden, where we saw Lina Strand and Im Svensk dominating the relay on the first 2 legs, but then Switzerland turned around the competition, and they managed to win it. And now we got a fight here for the third position between the two Swiss teams and also Czech Republic, but I don't think she will make it. So it's a fight between Team Switzerland 2 and 3, and it's Switzerland 2 into third position.
Take it ahead of Swinny against Czech Republic into 5th place. Through Jana Sikova on the last leg. So 3 Swiss teams in the top 4.
Among the 4 best, that's very impressive.
That is very impressive, and Jana Sikova there into 5th spot. A great run from her on the final leg, and I think word should go into Wojtek Kral, who climbed from 9th to 4th spot on his leg, on the 3rd leg there. Here into 6th place, it's Norway 1 and Antonin Benjaminsen, and then we know there is a gap now to the rest of the field. So, I mean, impressive performance from the Swiss, getting 3 teams in the top 4.
Yeah, great performance. I mean, of all of them. If you end up with the 3rd team in is it 4th position, then you did a great job for sure. It's not that unexpected. I mean, it was a lot of climbing. The Swiss usually are good at that, and it's a lot of route choices around. That's something you can do in Switzerland, and maybe you have more difficulties to find something similar in other countries. But still, you have to do it, and there are many very young runners in those 2nd and 3rd teams. They did a great job.
Well, Alexandra Enlund is the best of the Finnish teams here today. For Finland 2, we've also got Sari Antonen here. For Finland 3, we've got French team there, and Vendula Horchakova in for the I think second Czech team. And now we've got more of them, those groups together. We can see Norway and Poland in there. Now Siri Ulvestad there. And we've got one of the Polish teams there. And a bit of a fight here between Norway, Sweden, and Sweden, I think, taking it just there, and Austria.
Some words about the Czech team. They had quite a tough start, were quite a lot behind already in the beginning, but had a very strong Wojtek Kral again on the 3rd leg, and I think Jana Sikova, she did a good job. We haven't really seen what happened when she got passed by the 2 Swiss teams. She must have lost. It happened between 8 and 9 on the route choice, that we know, but we didn't really see why she lost time. Otherwise, she did a good job. I mean, still very, very young, and she didn't lose. I mean, she had the same speed as the 2 Swiss runners there. So, except for this 9th control, she did everything right. And I mean, a 5th place, it was still a good result. There was a chance for more, but still, I think that's a good result for the Czech Republic.
Yeah, I think they should be very pleased with that. And Finnish Kat Taylor for Great Britain. Now we've had the 18th team to finish of the 38 teams out there on the course today. Now we also have New Zealand and Lizzie Ingham on the final leg for Team New Zealand. So let's have Italy and Austria into the finish now, 20th and 21st. And now having about 5.5 minutes behind. So we're going to hold out for the flower ceremonies for the top 3 teams, which we'll bring to you, but we've still got some more of the teams to make their way into the finish before we see that.
The 22 teams into the finish. And there Great Britain, Johnson and Denmark. With Caroline
That's
Jeffel,
the
last
Danish
for
team,
Denmark.
and we're talking about that.
23 and 24.
I mean, we had that feeling already at the World Championships when they really needed Mayalm in very good shape to end up in top 3. They went out in 7th position after 3 legs. She managed to turn it around and get the medal. And now it was both Mayalm and Tualassen missing. That's just too much, and it's a lot of climbing here. Maybe not the thing you train a lot in Denmark, but I mean that's not really size if they're good orienteers. So it's first just playing with a cliche.
We are indeed, but to recap that win for Switzerland, just managing to keep it together. And do you think Florian Huvald would have known that he was in the lead if he'd passed Jonas Andersson?
That's an interesting question. I don't know. It depends. I mean, it can. If he missed the control, Jonas Andersson, then there for sure is a possibility that Florian Huvald saw him missing, and that this was an extra stress situation for Jonas Andersson seeing Huvald passing. But I'm not sure about it. I think it's more likely that they didn't see each other, and I mean you're so focused on your course, on your own race. It's a sprint. There's a lot of things coming after the first control, many decisions to take. So there's not a lot of time to look around and look out for other runners. Usually you see them when you pass a runner, you have a lot of time to get in contact. You see his back for almost minutes, and then you pass him or her. Well, it's an interesting question, but we didn't see the GPS, so we don't really know what happened. And I don't know. It would be nice to know. It would change for sure the tactics, I don't really know if it would, because he would have to do his own race anyway. But for sure, the feeling is different when you know that you're in the lead, and you can actually put in some safety and some margin in your orienteering. Maybe you don't have to be that attacking as you would be in another situation. Since I mean this is a relay, it's all about winning, and it's kind of a difference if you know that you have a half minute's lead compared to if you're in a man-to-man race when it comes to tactics.
But a word for the winners and Judith Vida, like keeping her orienteering really together. You know, on the last leg of this relay, on the last leg of the World Championships Forest Relay, also in the knockout sprint yesterday.
Yeah, she seemed very focused when you saw her at the start, and also on the course. She for sure, I mean, she knew that she's going out in the lead. She also knew that it was around
11 seconds.
11 seconds. So she knew that if she doesn't miss, she would see to Alex Andersson at least, and I'm sure she took a look back from every now and then and noticed that there's no Alex Andersson coming, so she could be quite sure about her lead. And then when she passed the arena, she knew that she's in the lead, and that's it. I mean, there's a coaching zone. She got the information that, well, there's a minute down to the second place. So in a situation like that, you can really calm down and just focus on your orienteering. Then a minute is a lot in a sprint race, and you have to miss a lot to lose a minute.
And when the runners run through the arena, do they take on all this information that they can hear from the loudspeaker?
I mean, it depends on. I'm sure if there's a big group, or I don't know. It's for sure it's harder to take the information in a big group. You're so into this man-to-man fight or woman-to-woman fight for the last loop, and you're very focused. There are many controls in this. We have seen in this competition, at least in the end. So then you might be very focused on your own race. There's no information you could get that could help you anyway. in that situation. But if you're in the lead, the information about the gap down to the second place can really be an advantage, since you know that I mean, a minute, as I said, if you don't do a big mistake, you never lose a minute. So it doesn't really matter which route choice you take. You can take the one 20 seconds slower. It doesn't matter as long as you don't miss the control. And that's an information that's good to have. But in the other situation, I mean, why should you need the information about other runners? It doesn't help you anyway. You will do your very best, and you will be at the border to what your body is capable to do, and your technique, what you can do with your technique, and then it doesn't help you if you get the information that it's 20 seconds up to the next position, because you will be attacking anyway.
Yeah, well, I suppose Triziana Sukova, who could see the two Swiss runners in front of her, that's all she's focusing on, and it doesn't matter how far ahead Judith Wieder or Tove Alexanderson are, because her race is just gaining places, and that's what you are focusing on the relay. And
it was very hard. You never got really the chance on this last loop to do something different than the others. And she had two runners in front of her, so there were two women that would have to miss to get her up in the top three. And I don't know, it's a tough situation. I'm sure she got also the feeling that she has exactly the same speed as the other two. I mean, we saw them for a long time with the same gap in between, and that's a tough situation. You hope for a mistake, but I mean, all the route choices are done. There's not, you can see on the map, it's not the most difficult sprint on the last loop she's ever done, for sure. So it's almost, I mean, you hope for the best, but she probably knew that it will be very hard.
Yeah, I mean, most of the orienteering is, most of the tricky legs, the route choices. But, you know, we did see some, well, I mean, we haven't seen Jonas Andersson's mistake, but we have seen a mistake from Tove Alexandersson that, you know, was fairly basic, but when you're in that kind of battle, and especially when you're trying to chase down 11 seconds.
In that case, I'm still not sure if we really have seen the right GPS track there, or if it was a lack that was just filled with that the GPS kind of moved to the first position when it got back again, because it looked very slowly up the hill there, and I'm not sure about that, but she must have done a mistake close to the control, like in the ring, and that's in the circle, and that's. I mean, if you have been out there, the controls were 5 meters behind the path, beside the path. Of course, it's a stressful situation. It's a first control. You don't have. It's the first time also. You mean the first 1.5 minutes you're in this park and not in the forest, and then you get into the forest. You don't really have a picture about how it will look like. But still, it's a lot. It's a big mistake.
Yeah, it was a big mistake, and it cost her 45 plus seconds, I think, almost a minute, and that really, she managed to claw some of it back. That just shows the strength and speed of Alexandersson, but ultimately you've got to get the orienteering right, don't you? Anyway, we're going to hopefully move now to the flower ceremonies as we can get them ready. Of course, medals and everything will be presented, prizes will be presented when all of the results are confirmed. You can see Czech team there finishing 5th overall, but 3rd nation. All the teams now can get ready to make their way to the stage and the podium.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the flower ceremony mixed sprint relay here in Argentina this beautiful Friday afternoon. The flowers will be presented by Alex Vitrum from Sun Event, one of the partners of this event. In the 3rd place, ladies and gentlemen, here on home soil, Czech Republic!
So they were the 3rd place nation, finishing behind 3 Swiss teams, and it's the team of Jana Knapper, Milos Nikodim, Wojciech Kral with a very good 3rd leg winner from yesterday, and Teresa Janasikova also a brilliant performance on the final leg, and they can take the 3rd place on home soil.
Or let's say the third nation at
Third
least.
nation, yes.
5th position.
And in 2nd place, leading on the first 2 legs, it is the team from Sweden, Lina Strand, Emil Svensson, Jonas Lianason and Hova Alexandersson. The quartets we're very used to seeing on the podium for the sprint relay world champions, of course. But our winners today, with an impressive team performance and keeping the orienteering right when it matters, it is Sabine Hauswirth, Andreas Kibertsbrunn Huvald and Judith Wieder. The 4 of them putting together an impressive performance to take the win here today, this final race of the Relay World Cup, and that does mean that they take the Relay World Cup title as well. Smiles all round for the Czech team. The Swedes not quite so happy. They knew that they were so close to victory. And with the long-standing rivalry between Switzerland and Sweden, it's always a fierce one and never an easy one to lose. So Switzerland are the winners of today's mixed sprint relay and also of the Relay World Cup after impressive performances. They won they are the European champions. They've won the European and World Championship women's relays and was 2nd in the sprint relay at the World Championships and 2nd in both the World and European Championships men's relays. And next up in our World Cup final series of races, it's the middle distance. So we had almost a little bit of a warm-up for that today with controls 1 and 2 round the rocks. We'll see a lot more of that tomorrow. Are you looking forward to it, Jonas?
Yeah, very much. I think it will be, for me, it's the highlight of the weekend, to be honest. It's very interesting terrain. You have this sandstone blocks and yeah, we will go into the forest. That's always a nice thing. I'm really looking forward to this.
Who would you rate on that type of course and that kind of terrain?
Well, I mean, for sure, we've seen strong Czech runners here, at least in the men's or in both classes for that. I would Wojtek. I'm looking forward to see Wojtek Kral perform in the forest. I'm also looking forward to see Milos Nikodym from the Czech side. And then, I mean, the men's race is, when you look at the overall standings in the World Cup, it's more open. We have still the fight between Mattias Kiburtz, Olav Lundanes and Daniel Hopman. And so I expect them to perform well because they will go all in. They have to. I mean, it's not. I'm just looking forward for some forest competitions.
You're very excited, but we can wrap up there the team standings on the Relay World Cup. We can say Switzerland there with top spots. The result today means that Sweden overtake Norway into 2nd and Norway then in 1st. Anyway, we will be back tomorrow for the middle distance race, and then we've got the sprint, the final race of the World Cup 2018 on Sunday. But until then, we'll leave you some pictures from today's mixed sprint relay. Bye for now.
Goodbye.